Good evening, everyone. This is your evening news recap, your nightly news podcast on all the news that I come across throughout the day, giving you my take as somebody who aspires to be a politician in the near future. Hopefully, all you guys are doing wonderful. Hopefully, all you guys are well. Today is January 4th, and it is Sunday. It's been a pretty interesting day in the news world so far. But outside of that, I'm doing pretty all right. It is early in the year still, but Miles Garrett did get the sack record today. For those who don't know, I'm a Cleveland Browns fan. And that was a great thing to witness. I'm repping the Broncos Patrick Surtain throwback jersey right now because the Broncos are playing, and hopefully they get a good seeding in the playoffs. Got to rep the local team if the Browns aren't going to do well. But hey, that was a very exciting thing to get for me today, or to witness for me today. Outside of that, though, hopefully all you guys are doing well. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. All the support would be greatly appreciated, as we are trying to reach 1,000 subscribers on YouTube by this summer. We're getting close to 700, so subscribe. Try to help us get to 700. If you're on Substack as well, please also consider subscribing. It's $8 a month. All funds go to me and help me pay for the things that I need to pay for in my life, like my groceries, like my clothing, like all of that. But if not, you can always subscribe for free. I truly do appreciate all forms of support on this content. With that being said, though, I believe that's all we have for the start of today. So let's get into our daily calendar, going on to January 4th. It's on the same page as it was yesterday. So this is the Delaware legislator, the election of the successful commissioner from Mississippi. After the address by a Mississippi commissioner who advocated for the section of from the United States, the Delaware legislator voted to remain in the Union. The Times reported Southern states had floated the idea of a secession for years, as the tide of the abolitionists, I can read totally, sentiment grew in the North. And all 11 Southern states succeeded in the months surrounding the start of the Civil War on April 12th of 1861. Of course, this was on January 4th of 1861. So it talks about, the start of the secession for the states for the Civil War, which was definitely a really interesting thing. There's a lot of talk about states seceding these days, especially for like California, for like Texas. And I'm pretty sure like none of that can happen. I'm like 99.9% sure the Constitution says that states can't secede, especially after the Civil War. I don't know how different it is with Texas, with the fact that they were their own country before. I believe I've heard something that's different about that, but I'm not entirely sure. But as a whole, that's an interesting one. My nose is itchy. Sorry. That's an interesting one, and we'll read the next one tomorrow. Anyways, let's get into our news, though, for today. Moving on into the Trump administration segment, the first topic we have for today is Marco Rubio has suggested Cuba might be a likely next target of the Trump administration. Marco Rubio has called out the Cuban government and suggested the country could be a next target for the Trump administration. Rubio said, "While the Cuban government is a huge problem, first of all, for the people of Cuba, I think they're in a lot of trouble. Yes, but I'm not going to talk to you about what the future steps are going to be and our policies are going to be right now in this regard. But I don't think it is any mystery that we are not a big fans of the Cuban regime." When Trump was asked a similar question, he said that he thinks Cuba is something we'll end up talking about because it's a failing nation. You could say a lot of the reasons why countries like Venezuela and Cuba and many more are failing is because of the fact that the strongest country in the world is actively promoting sanctions on them and pushing sanctions on them literally forever. I mean, but hey, maybe that's just a wild theory. Now, I've never been to Cuba, but I do know that they do at least have free healthcare, which is one step better than us. So, how about instead of fighting them, we take a page out of their book and do something for our citizens for once instead of going to war with other countries, because that's so important. In other news, Trump has confirmed military intervention in Greenland as well. I know we talk about this like every couple weeks, but it's going to happen eventually, I'm sure at this point. Trump has once again suggested taking over Greenland, telling the Atlantic we need it for defense. Trump was speaking with Michael Schreiner on the war with Venezuela when the conversation was brought up. Trump said, "I really don't know. He was very generous to me, Marco, yesterday. I wasn't referring to Greenland at the time, but we do need Greenland. Absolutely. We need it for defense." Great, because we need more war in the United States. Totally. I mean, what are we fucking doing, dude? Sorry for my language, but this administration is an absolute joke who lied their asses into office. They campaigned on no more new wars. They said that they would release the Epstein files on top of the mountain of other things that they campaigned on and haven't even done in the first place. I mean, it's all lies. It's all lies from this administration. And the first sign of Trump being a bad president should have been the fact that his first cabinet left in its entirety and did not stick it out through the entire first of his administration. Like, what are we doing? How is this man in office? It is an absolute joke. I mean, not to mention Trump is a bad dude in general. I mean, no rich guy who ever worked a single day in his life is going to be a good president for the working class. That's just common sense. It should seem like a no-brainer. It blows my mind how MAGA is continuously able to support him when the man has never worked a day in his life. He got his first million from his daddy and figured everything else afterwards. Like, that man does not know what he's doing. He does not know shit about the working class. He does not know shit about working. It is bonkers to me that the working class still considers him, or did consider him, to be the working class president. Anyways, moving on into our other news for the Trump administration, and our final topic for the Trump administration tonight. Trump decided to strike Venezuela after seeing Maduro dance. I'm not joking. That is an actual headline. Which is really interesting. Trump was so upset with Nicolas Maduro dancing that he's decided to invade the country of Venezuela, according to a new report from the New York Times. According to the report, and individuals who leaked the information, Maduro's regular dancing in public helped persuade Trump that he was being mocked by the leader of the country. Following an ultimatum from Trump, Maduro was seen dancing in public a lot more, but apparently he danced in public frequently before then, which ultimately led to the White House striking the country because Trump thought he was being mocked. A war over dancing, man. What a joke. Yeah. I don't even know. Like, we killed a shit ton of people over dancing, dude. Are we serious? Out of all the things that we could be doing in this country in the year of 2026, out of all the things that we could be doing in the world, in the year of 2026, we are blowing up people and killing people because their leader decided to dance. Trump dances all the time. Who's to say that this dude isn't dancing to dance? Like, you have to be joking me, and they said a woman was too emotional to be the president. I mean, this man lets his ego make damn near every decision for him. I mean, look at the man. All he is emotional. What are we doing? It's an absolute joke. This administration as a whole is an absolute joke. In other news, Gronk AI, the AI on Twitter, is actively generating content of children being sexually assaulted. Gronk AI on Twitter, the Twitter bot and Twitter as a whole, is facing backlash for the AI for actively generating essay material of minors, which is illegal. The bot posted itself that it knew the company could face legal issues for this, and according to staff, this legal issue is being looked into, but the images are still being posted anyways. Officials from India, France, and other countries said that they plan to look into the incident as a whole. This AI as a whole, the Gronk AI, seems to be a frequent problem, and something needs to be done about it. The fact that it has not gone anywhere after the amount of problems that it very frequently does seem to create is insane to me. Content like this is illegal and absolutely disgusting, and disgusting is an understatement for that regard. And the fact that Twitter hasn't shut this bot down in its entirety is insane. We should not be allowing a bot to be posting stuff like this. I mean, Twitter is a shithole these days. What do you expect from it? That's why I use Blue Sky. I refuse to touch Twitter. I use it for research purposes on, what people are saying in politics, and that is literally it. I use Blue Sky. Go check out my Blue Sky if you want to go check that out. It's the link in all of my bios and all of that kind of stuff. But Twitter is disgusting. I truly recommend you use Blue Sky if you want to get out of a shitty place like that. In other news, anti-war demonstrations are breaking out across the United States. Anti-war protests have broken out across the United States following the strikes that have taken place on Venezuela and the capturing of Maduro. Demonstrations have taken place in Times Square to LA, in major cities across the country. Organizers have called out the war for being based on oil and not drugs. Excuse me, sorry, being a conflict based on oil and not drugs, and being an effort to control Venezuela's oil reserves as a whole. These demonstrations will continue to get bigger. Like I said, this conflict is going to be my generation's Vietnam in one way or another, and people are going to come out and speak out against it. There is a very big lack of support for this war and war as a whole in this country. It's going to have a lasting impact, and one that needs to lead to Trump being ousted from office. We cannot and must not allow the president to start and go into wars without congressional approval. It's illegal for one, but it shouldn't be allowed in the first place because that creates the precedent for other administrations going forward, which isn't okay in the slightest. No president should be following or no president should be going against the law or breaking the law. In other news, the death strikes in Venezuela, or the death tolls in Venezuela, have hit 80. The death toll from strikes in Venezuela has reached 80, according to a new report from the New York Times. A large part of Maduro's security team has been killed, but we don't know the exact number, and civilians also have been killed in the attacks. This number is also expected to rise further as more bodies are discovered. I'm sure a number of these people were civilians as well. I mean, if you watch any of the videos of these strikes, it was just multiple barrages of missiles into city blocks, into living areas and stuff like that, which is absolutely horrible. This is a war that needs to end. And hopefully Congress can get Trump to end it. But my hopes are not high. I'm going to be completely honest. In other news, moving on to our final topic for tonight, one person has been killed and 3 have been injured in a mass shooting in Denver. Denver police are investigating a shooting that left 1 dead and 3 injured at a party to celebrate the capture of Nicolas Maduro. All the injuries are unknown, but the shooting took place in a parking lot off of East Hampton Avenue and South Galena Street. Information on the subject is yet to be released. This is absolutely horrific news, and my full condolences go to the family of the person who passed, and I wish a speedy recovery to all of those injured. Gun violence in this country is a massive problem, one that should be discussed and one that needs to be dealt with as soon as possible. And good luck to everyone who will be impacted by gun violence this year. Nobody should have to be impacted by it. Shit, not even Charlie Kirk should have to been impacted by it last year. But unfortunately, that's the country we live in, where we care more about guns than protecting the lives of innocent people. With that being said, though, thank you everyone for watching today's episode. I hope you all enjoyed. It's definitely been a very interesting day in the news world, that is for sure. If you are new here, please consider subscribing, though. All the support would be greatly appreciated as we're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, by this summer. Let's try and hit 700 before the end of the month. I think we can do it. We're like less than 50 away. I think we're like 45 away. So drop a subscribe if you're new. Help us hit 700 by the end of this month. I think we can do that without a doubt. I think we might even be able to get a solid amount of progress to 800 by the end of this month. But hey, I have faith in us. So drop a subscribe if you're new. And if you're on Substack, please also consider subscribing. It's $8 a month. All funds go to me. Helps me pay for the things that I need to pay for in my life. Like my groceries, like my clothing, like my bills. This is a viewer-supported show, so all the support is truly greatly appreciated. With that being said, though, thank you everyone for watching. I truly do appreciate it. Hopefully the Broncos can get a win here. We'll see. But with that being said, have a good one, guys. I will see you all tomorrow. Later.